Wow, full roster for Smash 4 has been leaked, and honestly, I'm kind of disappointed. I thought that leaked image from earlier was not the full roster, but I guess it is, so that's a thing. I mean, come on, we were so close to 50 characters! Would have really been that tough to include 2 more? I mean, I guess we have 3 different classes of Mii fighters if you want to argue that they all count as separate characters, but I mean, still. Anyway, as promised, I'll be going through each series represented in Smash 4 and making videos about them in a fixed order. 1 week for a couple of months, probably, at least. We'll see, whatever. The order will go like this. First I'll do Mario, then Mario spin-offs, so Yoshi and Wario. Donkey Kong series, then Pokemon series, which might have to be multiple parts. I have a lot of feelings. Zelda series, Kirby series, then Metroid, Star Fox, Kid Icarus, Fire Emblem, third-party properties, casual games, so that'll cover Wii Fit, Animal Crossing, and the Mii Fighters, as well as any other casual games I see fit for Smash Brothers. Retro games.
We got a 2-for-1 deal. It's Earthbound and F-Zero.
And then other. That's where you're gonna get your Pikmin, that's where you're gonna get your Xenoblade, and that's where you're gonna get other series that aren't represented yet, so look forward to that. So, these videos are gonna take on a similar style to Game Explain's discussion videos, which are mostly just like still images that'll cycle for a little while. And usually when I listen to a Game Explaining discussion, well, that's what I do, I listen to it. I'll usually have something else going on. I might be working on homework, I might be just surfing the web, but for the most part, you can do that with these videos, because there aren't going to be a whole lot of visual things you need to pay attention to. Every once in a while I might do a cutaway gag or something, but I'll try to warn you about those, I guess. Anyway, I've rambled on about that for a little bit, so let's get to the Mario series! Okay, general thoughts about the Mario series in Smash Brothers for 3DS. First of all, we have a lot of stages. There are like 5 different Mario stages starting out, and there might even be more unlocked later on. And most of those stages do serve like different purposes than each other. Like the Golden Plains, like its gimmick with getting all the gold coins and the gold armor. That's cool. The Paper Mario stage like shifts to different games. That's really cool. But Mushroomy Kingdom, like, why did that stage need to return? It's a past stage. I guess it's side-scrolling, but I feel like they could have just made a new sideways scrolling stage. Actually, they did make a new sideways scrolling stage, even from the Mario series for this game, the 3D Land stage. So really, there was no point in adding the Mushroomy Kingdom at all. So that's silly. We'll see what the Wii U version brings us in terms of stages. It also has just a lot of representation in general. I think it's got 7 different characters playable. And some people might complain, like, oh, this is not Super Mario Smash Brothers, it's Super Smash Brothers. But I think it's justified, because Mario is the biggest, most successful video game series in the world, and it's like Nintendo's main thing. And it, 7, it's more than any other series represented here, but it's not like a ton more. It has 2 more reps than Pokemon, which I still think is a little off, but whatever. It's not like they added in 10 Mario characters. No, they same roster from Brawl, and then just 3 more characters. It's not. And as I said before, I'll be covering Yoshi and Wario in a different episode because they have their own games. And then Donkey Kong, like, he's always been kind of separate from Mario, except for the very first game that debuted the both of them. So yeah, he's getting his own video. Well, him and Diddy, I guess, are getting their own video separate from even Yoshi and Wario. And then finally, to finish out the general thoughts, why is there still not a 1-up mushroom item? That's something I've been wanting for a while. I guess the Rally X flags from Namco shit do the same thing, but it would have just made more sense to make it a 1-up mushroom. Alright, so those are general thoughts. Now let's go to individual characters. First we have Mario, the Nintendo mascot. It really would not be a like a Nintendo fighting game without it. If you're trying to market like Super Smash Bros. To people, like if in the N64 era where Smash Bros. First appeared, they had this like Nintendo fighter with all these different all-stars, but like no Mario or Luigi, people would be like, yeah, I mean, it's cool that you can have Kirby fight Link and stuff, but where the hell is Mario? I don't think it would be anywhere near as successful as it is now if Mario were not in it. So, yeah, he definitely needs to be in every Smash Brothers. He definitely needs to be a big part of the promotion of every Smash Brothers. He needs to be a starting character, etc., etc. There was an article I read, like, way long ago that said Smash Brothers with Mario, or Smash Brothers without Mario is like pizza without the cheese, but that's the way it's served in certain places. I see it more as pizza without the crust. It just falls apart. It's just like this big blobby mess. Anyway, as far as how he's treated in-game, he still has that stupid FLUDD move that does frickin' nothing. I don't know who thought that was a good idea to add it into Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Like, okay, I get that it's like one move that makes him more different from Luigi, but really, like, he does spin moves in actual Mario games. In fact, Mario Galaxy, which came out just before Brawl, had like the spin move as his primary attack, and then friggin' the FLUDD was important to Mario for one game. It's, you know, there are tons of Mario games. But if they would have given Luigi a different down B where he had his vacuum cleaner, that would be much better because it's more important to his character. Like, Luigi's Mansion and Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon are frickin' like games about Luigi, and they're basically the only two, unless you count Mario as missing, but no one does because that game's horrible. So yeah, that's a thing. Also, I'm not terribly surprised, but he has the same Final Smash. It would have been cool to see him like get a Mega Mushroom and just grow huge and like stomp everyone, but I can't complain too much. And then finally, for Mario, you have that new costume where he's wearing red, white, and blue. It's taken from Mario Golf, or no, NES Open Championship Tournament Golf Tits. That's a real game, by the way. Open Tournament Golf Tits, favorite NES game. But yeah, I think that that's kind of a bizarre choice for an alternate costume, but it's definitely appreciated. Plus, I mean, just have an event match where you play as Mario in that costume and you fight off like a bunch of Captain Falcons, and you get like a special trophy for beating it on the 4th of July. That'd be pretty sick. Alright, so moving on to Luigi. I already covered the Poltergust and why he should have that. I could see that being way more useful than the FLUDD, because you could, I mean, it would basically be like a Kirby / DDD move where you suck people in and then spit them out. He does get it for his Final Smash, like a crazy sucky vacuum thing, which makes a whole lot more sense than Negative Zone, although Negative Zone did have a certain amount of charm to it. But I understand that in Luigi's Mansion series, that Poltergust can be upgraded to shoot like fire and ice and do all sorts of crazy stuff. So I really wish that would have been like a bigger part of his moveset. I still can't complain about him too much though, because he's still quirky and weird and just has that little brother syndrome or whatever. I don't really understand why there isn't a Dark Moon stage on the 3DS version of the game, though. Like, if they add one in the Wii U version, I guess that's cool, but the whole thing about having different stages for different versions is it's supposed to be like portable stages, or stages from portable games more often appear on the 3DS version, and Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon was a pretty successful 3DS game that came out quite a bit before this game did, so it's not like it would be too late in the development cycle or whatever for them to add a Dark Moon stage. But, yeah, that's Luigi. Then we have Peach. I've never really used Peach. I mean, whatever. I guess I'm glad that she's in Smash Brothers just because, I mean, she's like the main female character of the Mario universe, and she was playable in Mario 2 and Mario RPG and all that stuff. But I just really don't like her as a character in Mario. Like, she's gotten a little better with, like, her recent appearance in 3D World as a playable character. But most of the time, she gets kidnapped, and, like, has to have Mario rescue her, even though she's proven herself more than capable of kicking Bowser's butt on numerous occasions. She just, I don't know, it irks me that she exists, basically. Apparently with her new Final Smash, like, it's basically the same thing it was before, except you can get, like, a really huge Peach from it. I haven't seen any footage of it. I've just seen one image of Villager standing next to this enormous Peach. So, cool. Also, she was revealed on the release date for Mario & Luigi Dream Team. And I guess she's in that game, but I don't know why you would reveal her for that particular game. Like, she doesn't have any sort of, like, huge role in that. But, I mean, I guess it was either that or, like, Mario Kart 8 or something else, so whatever. She's Peach. Next. Okay. Then we have Bowser. One of the big things about this game is that he stands upright this time around, and he kind of looks weird. Not just because he stands upright, but also because his face is in, like, a locked position. I don't know. Everyone else is like, oh, Bowser looks so cool in this game. I'm like, Bowser looks kind of effed up in this game. He still doesn't have his own stage, which I think is dumb, because Bowser's Castle is one of the most iconic recurring stages in the Mario universe. Or even like an airship from like Mario 3 would be cool. But no, still no Bowser stage. Hopefully in the Wii U version. That's the thing about these stages. You gotta pray for stages in that version. Or DLC, you never know. Apparently, he's a pretty freaking good character this time around. There was that 3DS tournament at Comic-Con where the final match was Bowser v. Bowser. So, I guess that's good because he's been low tier for a very long time. I give Bowser props for being the original villain of the Smash Brothers series. I mean, I guess Ganondorf was also in Melee, which is when Bowser premiered as well, but he was Bowser was a starting character. Ganondorf you had to work for him. So, yeah, all those posts of Smash Brothers needs more villains, you have Bowser to thank for that, so okay. And then he has the same Final Smash as in Brawl, and I was kind of hoping that he would get in a Koopa Clown car and, like, throw bombs down at people, but luckily, the Koopa Clown car was put to better use than that. And I'll get to that in a minute. Alright, so those are all the veterans. Well, okay, there's one more veteran, but he wasn't in Brawl, so he kind of like took a break and is coming back. Anyway, those are all the Mario characters that were in Brawl. So now let's move on to newcomers and one pseudo-newcomer, I guess? So, first we have Rosalina, who I'm super glad she's in because she's actually given a backstory and depth and whatnot in her game of origin, and she's not a helpless princess. If anything, she's the one helping you. And the Wii U version has the Galaxy stage, which looks beautiful and cool, and I've been wanting a Galaxy stage in Smash Brothers basically since Galaxy came out, so I'm glad that that's a thing. Interestingly, she is not a Peach clone in any way. Her moveset looks very interesting. I don't think I'm going to ever use her, but I could see some people getting really, really good with her. It's like, it's sort of an Ice Climber sort of thing. Ice Climber / Olimar sort of thing, where it's like, she seems like she'd be a really tough character to, like, learn how to use, but once you learn the ins and outs of Rosalina, which I know some people want to learn more about the ins and the outs, you know what I mean. Once you learn the ins and outs of her, she can be, like, one of the best characters in the game. That's just my prediction. If she turns out to be bottom tier or whatever, you know, don't blame me. I'm just saying, I think she has potential to be really, really good. Also, since she is a new character revealed before the leak, she got a reveal trailer. And I just kind of want to comment on each character that got a reveal trailer and like the trailers themselves. It was kind of an unexpected thing because basically before that, we had Villager, Wii Fit Trainer, and Mega Man announced at E3, and then pretty much nothing for the rest of that year as far as new characters was concerned. We got more veterans announced, which is good and all, but yeah, so she was the first newcomer announced after that E3, and like the trailer starts out seeming like a Kirby Air Ride 2 trailer, and then it transitions to like a Rainbow Road stage, which by the way, I'm pretty sure they're using the Rainbow Road from Mario Kart 8 in Smash Brothers for Wii U, since they're doing the 3DS or Mario Kart 7 stage from 3DS 1, it just makes sense. Anyway, and then it transitions to Mario Kart, so people are like, wait, what, Kirby's in Mario Kart? And then Rosalina comes in and is like, hey, I'm in Smash Brothers. It's the first of many, actually I wouldn't say it's the first, I'd say the Wii Fit Trainer reveal is the first, but it's one of the first of many instances of Sakurai being just a total troll bag in his trailers. So, yeah, that's Rosalina. Then we move on to Bowser Jr., who I initially did not want in this game at all. I thought he would just be like a smaller, faster, like clone of Bowser that can transform into Shadow Mario, who would be a clone of Mario. Like, it just did not seem appealing to me. And then people were like, yeah, but he could use the paintbrush. And I was like, I don't fucking know about that, whatever. But then, after leaked footage started coming up on the internet and showed that he's in a Koopa clown car the whole time, and the clown car can do crazy things like grow a tongue and lick people, like grow drill arms and drill into people, and like turn into a car, and all of this crazy stuff, I basically changed my position on him completely. I was like, okay, this is a worthy addition to the Smash Brothers roster, because he plays like a crazy mofo, and I tend to like the characters that have moves that just don't even make any sense. Like, Game & Watch is one of my mains, and I just love how, oh, now he's shooting bacon. Oh, now he's got a fishbowl above his head. Oh, now he's got a parachute for some reason. So I might mess around with Bowser Jr. just because of the many things he can do. But the paintbrush idea is still present for his final smash. He'll turn into Shadow Mario and then use the paintbrush to make a big, like, paint X across the screen. Anyone who touches the X is gonna get major damage. So, you know, it has... His moveset has a little bit of what people expected, but it's done in a creative way, and then a lot of what people would go, aww, to. So, I am in full support of Bowser Jr., which is something I never thought I would say. Now, let's talk about why he was included, though. Like, other than just interesting movesets, because, you know, as far as interesting movesets go, there are probably tons of characters that you could put in. I think part of it was because he was one of the, like, most requested characters in Brawl, and in this game as well. But I think another part of it is because of the new Super Mario Bros. Series, where he appears in pretty much every game. Those games are hugely popular, not exactly rightfully so, but they are, and so a lot of people are going to recognize Bowser Jr. from those games. Then we have his alt costumes, which are all of the other Koopa kids, complete with, like, different voice actors for each one. And I just gotta think, like, why this was not the case in Mario Kart 8. Because in Mario Kart 8, like, friggin' an entire row of the roster is taken up by these Koopalings. And I mean, it's cool that you have them and all, but they gave, like, alternate colors to Yoshi and Shy Guy, where you just, like, select the character and then you can select your color. Why couldn't they have just done that with the Koopalings? And then given those character slots with, like, different stats to better Mario characters. Alright, so those are the two, like, actual newcomers. Here's the pseudo-newcomer. Dr. Mario! Okay, so I'm gonna be honest here. I didn't like him in Melee. Like, he and Pichu were, up until this point, like, my least favorite characters in all of Smash Brothers. And he really hasn't improved too much here, but there are a couple little things that make me go, okay, I can sort of see where they were going with this. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be complaining that he got in over Mewtwo, but there is a reason for all of this. Earlier, when Sakurai was explaining how Lucina got in the game, he explained that characters would have different costumes, but those costumes would only change their appearance, and that they'd have to stay the same height, the same weight, have the exact same moves, and the exact same properties to those moves. If Dr. Mario was in as a costume, then he would have all of the same moves and stuff that Mario had, and people would complain because he wouldn't have the electric properties or the pill moves that he had in Melee. But, on the flip side, since he's as a character and he does have those properties, people are complaining, well, he's a clone of Mario, blah blah blah, why couldn't he just be a costume? So it's really a lose-lose. Luckily, they retained his down B from Melee, which makes him so much better than Mario. Like, I just can't get over how stupid the Flood is. And for that reason, I think he's going to be used more than Mario competitively. I like his entrance animation a lot, where it shows, like, a bunch of, like, viruses out in front of them, and then he drops a pill and they all clear out of the way. That looks really cool. I look forward to hearing more Dr. Mario like music remixes, because those are always fun to listen to. And then there's his final smash, which is literally just Mario's finale, but with fire replaced with pills. It's about the laziest you could get with his final smash. But then again, it's better than having 3 characters with Landmaster for their final smash, so yay! Alright, so that's who did make it in. In just a minute, I'm going to tell you about who didn't make it in, and why they didn't make it in, how they could make it in the future, etc., etc. And by in a minute, I mean right now. So, first and foremost, let's address everyone's favorite assist trophy, Waluigi. So, Waluigi is actually a really popular request for a Smash Bros. Character, and I mean, I like him, I just don't see him being a good Smash character. I don't want to say, like, ever, but I feel like it'll be a very long time before he'll be viable enough as a Smash Bros. Character. He's just not terribly relevant to the Mario series. He'll appear in sports games, Mario Party, that's about it. He was created to be Wario's doubles partner for Mario Tennis. Like, he hasn't even been in a platforming game yet. Neither Mario or Wario games. And that's something I want to address here. Waluigi is a Mario character. I don't care what the little symbol in the assist trophies, like, montage says. He is a Mario character, not a Wario character. He has never been in Wario Land, never been in WarioWare. He debuted in Mario games. It seems like really the only reason people want him in is, one, because he's quirky, which, I mean, fair enough, but there are tons of quirky characters already in Smash Brothers that are way more relevant to their series and have way more unique stuff to offer. And then also because they want to have a 4-player match between Mario, Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi, which, that would be kind of cool, but it's kind of a silly reason to want a character in. Sakurai has had some fun with the fact that people want him in, though, and that screenshot of the day where he revealed Waluigi and said, "Just because you try hard doesn't mean you'll make it in." I appreciate that. I also appreciate how Waluigi was in the background of the Assist Trophies montage in the April Direct. But even though he isn't in Smash Brothers, and I don't think he's going to be anytime soon, he is still a great character in Brawl in the Family. If you have not checked out that webcomic, you should. Alright, so next for characters that other people want in, but I don't, we have Princess Daisy, who has a lot of the same problems that Waluigi has. She was in Super Mario Land, so at least you can say that she was in a Mario platformer, but she hasn't been in one since then, and I see even less moveset potential for her than for Waluigi. Honestly, I think it'd be very difficult to have her, like, not be a clone of Peach. Rosalina, like, they had to, like, think critically and, like, figure shit out for her to make her work, but they used pretty much every element of Galaxy that they could to make her her own character. There really isn't that much unique to Super Mario Land, and since she hasn't been in... Well, there are, but that's like stuff that applies to Mario, so it'd be weird to see Daisy use moves that only Mario could use. I don't know. I'd say it would be very difficult to make her not a clone, and it would just be best to keep her as an alternate costume for Peach. Next we have Gino. yeah, not gonna happen. Ever. I mean, I don't want to say ever because, you know, there have been people online that, like, say, if the Duck Hunt dog is really in Smash, I'll suck my own grandpa's dick, and then the Duck Hunt dog is in Smash, and then they're like, oh, well, I don't actually want to suck my grandpa's dick. So, maybe someday Gino could be in, but I highly doubt it. And there are a couple reasons for this. First of all, he hasn't been in a game for like 20 years. He had a cameo in one of the Mario and Luigi games, but beyond that, he hasn't had like any sort of a role in a Mario game. I think he was just a doll sitting still in the Mario and Luigi game he appeared in, and the developers had to pay to let him in, and they had to pay like quite a bit. I just think, you know, Super Mario RPG is loved by the internet. I don't really understand why. It's not the best. Probably gonna get flamed for that, but oh well. I really just think that the other Mario RPGs are superior in pretty much every way. I honestly like Mallow more. But Gino, you know, he has some cool moves. I get it. I get, like, he's a cool character, and he has potential to work as a Smash Brothers character. But most people have never heard of him, and he's a third-party character, is the other thing. And it's from a company that makes other, like, really well-known games, like Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, that sort of thing. I feel like if Square Enix got on board to work with Nintendo on the next Smash Brothers, Gino would be kind of a waste. I think it would be far better for them to pick a classic character from their library that people recognize, like, as a third-party character. Because the other thing about Gino is, not only are there way more deserving third-party characters, there are way more deserving Mario characters, which we'll get to in a minute. So, yeah, like, people have said that Goku is more likely than Gino, and I wouldn't necessarily go that far, but he is definitely not high on my this could potentially be a thing list. Alright, so speaking of deserving characters, I still believe that Toad is the most deserving Mario character to be in the next Smash Brothers. Now, most deserving does not mean most wanted, and in fact, since I made the top 10 about characters I want in, Toad has dropped quite a bit on my wanted list, because, I don't know, he could be unique, he could be cool, but, like, in terms of what he could offer to the game, and, like, how fans would react to him and that sort of thing, you know, there are better choices than him. But the point still stands that he's been playable in more Mario games than any other character that isn't in yet, and a lot of them have been recent Mario platformers, and people will say, well, like, what about Peach's B-move? The fact that she uses Toad to, like, counter attacks. Well, the thing is, Toad isn't just one character. Toad is a species, and there are multiple red Toads, so, you know, one way to get around it would be, like, using blue or yellow Toad as the default, but I don't even really think you'd have to do that. I just think, just say, it's another Toad, which would be perfectly logical in, in the Mario universe. So yeah, that's not an issue. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that Princess Peach can't get a new B-move, although I don't know what they'd use. They could use something from Super Princess Peach, but there are some people that don't take too kindly to Super Princess Peach, so all the feminists and whatnot. We haven't gotten to my Zero Suit Samus discussion yet, but trust me, it's gonna be a fun one. Alright, so... yeah, moveset-wise, I think Toad can use a bunch of different Mario power-ups because he runs the Toad houses in the Mario games, so he has more access to the power-ups than really any other character. And there are a bunch of Mario power-ups that we haven't, like, actually seen put to use yet. Like, we still haven't seen, like, the propeller suit, or the ice flower, or... the boomerang, like, incorporated in any Mario character's movesets, so I still think that there's some potential for that. He'd be a really fast character. That's, like, the main thing that he does in Mario games. The main thing he's known for is Super Mario 3D World. If you want to piss people off, just play as Toad and run through the level. Well, they're like, hey, I want to get the green star. And you'd be like, nope, already at the flagpole, sorry. I think if he was included, he would have plenty of alt costumes. Like you could put in Toadette and Toadsworth and Captain Toad. A lot of people want him as his own character, Captain Toad. I don't really know why. I mean, I get that his levels in 3D World were fun and that he was getting his own game and whatnot, but it just makes sense to go with the established character of regular Toad and keep Captain Toad as an alt. And if Mario power-ups aren't, like, enough for Toad, to, like, get a full moveset, then he could use stuff from Mario Kart, Mario Party, etc. I know people are gonna say, well, Toad's using stuff from Mario Kart, Mario Party, those games, that's what, Waluigi could use for his moveset, or that's what Daisy could use for her moveset. Well, true, but... like, well, let's face the facts here. They're not all three going to get in. And if one were to get in over the others, I feel like Toad would make the most sense. Because, yeah, I mean, you can't have three different characters all with moves from Mario Kart and Mario Party and stuff. And Toad could, like, get away with not using those for the most part, but I mean, there might be a couple moves. Well, whatever. The fact of the matter is, Toad could use that stuff, but still be justified in being in the game, because he's not basically just famous because of Mario Kart and Mario Party. He actually contributes to the Mario series as a whole as well, whereas the other two do not. So, that's Toad. And of course, my #1 most wanted Mario character is... my #1 most wanted character, period, is Paper Mario. And I think I'm probably going to do a full video about him. Just because there is so much to cover. But right here, right now, I want to cover a few things about him. I mean, first of all, they gave him a stage, which is better than they did in Brawl, so good for that. Yay. Like I said in my top 10, he has plenty of moveset potential. I wrote out an entire moveset for him completely different than Mario's, than regular Mario's, I should say. And, like, the moveset I wrote was good, but I feel like there are, like, 100 other ways you could have organized the moveset and still made it completely different than Mario's. Like, he's got badges, he's got a hammer and different jump attacks, he's got partners, he's got things, he's got frickin' pixels and, like, curses and flippy techniques, like crystal star moves. Like, I feel like you could almost take each one of those individual elements and make a full character out of those. But, I mean, that's never gonna happen. Because, Paper Mario and maybe Fawful are the only Mario RPG characters I could see actually getting into Smash Bros. As playable characters. Just because, like, Mario RPGs don't traditionally do that that well. They're more like cult classics seen by fans. But Paper Mario is the main character of 4 different games. So that makes sense. And then Fawful is a recurring villain and a rather popular one at that. So he could get in. But yeah, people who want like one of the partners from Thousand Year Door is playable, that ain't gonna happen. As an assist trophy, yes, I would love that, but playable, no. So those are the main characters I wanted to address. There are, of course, other Mario characters that people will bring up, like Professor Egad, Birdo, King Boo, Wart. Some people bring up Mario enemies like Shy Guy and Goomba. And then, of course, there are the other RPG characters, which I just discussed. Like, Mario is a treasure trove of different characters that have different potential and whatnot. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on that. Tune in next time to hear me discuss Yoshi and Wario, and I will catch you on the flip side. Or the flop side. Super Paper Mario reference? Anyone? Anyone? No? Okay, I'll just leave then. I'll just leave then. I'll just leave then. I'll just leave then. I'll just leave then.